Hey everyone, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to Never Out of Books. I know I've been missing for a while. Sorry for that. I may still be missing at times. My reading is not hugely robust still at this juncture, but it's starting to get better. But today I have a very large book haul for y'all. I have about 50 books here that I've brought into my home since January, and this is just the physical books. I have purchased many Kindle books and gotten a lot of freebies from there as well, but I kind of wanted to go through these all these, but I really wanted to go through these books and get them on my shelf and not where they are right now. Because there are so many books and I don't want this to be an eternal video, I am going to go through this fairly quickly because I have not read these books. I do not know what they are about, so I cannot go into that detail. So without further ado, I have the first 4 books of a series. I believe it is called the Burning Cove series. It is by Amanda Quick, who I used to really love reading. She writes as Amanda Quick are her historical romances, and she uses a different name for her more contemporary books. So these are historical romantic suspense, I guess I would call them. There is a new one that just came out, but of course I haven't read these 4. They are The Girl Who Knew Too Much, The Other Lady Vanishes, Tightrope, and Close Up. And yes, I know it's a bunch of mixed media books, but my family are going to enjoy reading these, so I wanted them to be in the house. And I forgot to mention, most of these books were like Little Free Library or discount bookstore books, and then there's a few that I got in book boxes that I did not necessarily pick myself. I got 2 more by Laura Griffin, who I really like. These I did pay full price for because she writes romantic suspense and I really like her books. So I have Desperate Girls and Flight. I am currently trying to get through her Tracer series, which is like 13 or 14 books long. And these are some of her other series. I can't remember which ones are which though. I grabbed a couple of Jill Shalvis books, Lost and Found Sisters. I think I own the 2nd book of the series, so I wanted this one, again for like my family purposes so that they can read it. I also grabbed The Lemon Sisters by her. These are contemporary romance, possibly women's fiction, chick lit. I'm not sure the ages that are in here and which way they're going to skew. I grabbed 2 books by Abby Jimenez. I think that's how you say her last name. They are The Friend Zone and The Happily Ever After Playlist. And so these are contemporary romance, but they do seem to tackle issues. I think this one has like infertility, and I'm not sure what the 2nd one does, but I know that there's some deeper issues involved. When I saw a really great deal for this whole series, I had to buy it even though I already own the first book, so now I have it twice. And that is the Murder Most Unladylike series by Robin Stevens. This is middle grade mystery, and I love middle grade mystery, and I believe they're set at a boarding school, which is another thing that I just adore. And I even like the covers. They're still wrapped up. I haven't taken them out, but I like the covers. I like the whole thing about this, and I'm looking forward to having this on my shelf and actually reading them one of these moments. I grabbed these 3 from an independent bookstore that was having a signing by the author, and this was around the Christmas time, I think, but I did get them in January. And I haven't actually read these ones yet, so I'm looking forward to this. And this is the Girl Meets Duke series. These are historical romances by Tessa Dare. So I have The Wallflower Wager, The Duchess Deal, and The Governess Game, probably not in correct order. They all have step bags. Did you see, and they are all signed to me, which is super duper duper exciting. I can't wait to read them, and I'm excited to have signed books in my collection. It makes me feel very special. I have the next book in a Seaside Cafe mystery series by Bree Baker. These are cozy mysteries, and this is Closely Harbored Secrets. This one came in a book box. It is called Stone Cross by Mark Cameron. And so this is like a crime thriller, and it's set in Alaska, which is always good. I have The Happy Camper by Melody Carson. This is a contemporary romance of some sort. I have Spellbreaker by Charlie N. Holmberg. This I got in a book box as well, and it is a fantasy. Unconditionally by Erin Lyon, and this is a contemporary romance, or a chick lit, one of those two. I grabbed Meet Cute by Helena Hunting. Obviously this is a contemporary romance. This was on BookTube. A lot of people were talking about it, and I got it cheap. I Love You, a novel, subject to the following terms and conditions, and it is called by Erin Lyon, also a contemporary romance, chick lit. I'll categorize it after I've read it. I grabbed The Last Second by Catherine Coulter and J.T. Ellison. Catherine Coulter used to write some great romance. I don't think this is a romance. I think this is kind of like a thriller, adventure sort of novel, and this is part of a series which I have not started but seem to be collecting on my shelf because I like to buy books. I have To Have and to Hoax by Martha Waters. This is a historical romance, and from what I can see it is a funny one, so yes, looking forward to this. I have Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. This is a contemporary romance. I can't remember whether I bought this on purpose or whether it came to me in a book box, but I guess it doesn't really matter because I'll read it. I grabbed The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa Kay Adams. People keep recommending this book to me, and algorithms keep recommending this book to me on Goodreads and everywhere. I can't stop looking at this book, so I figure I should probably read it so that it will recommend something else. This is a contemporary romance about, I'm thinking, men who read romance, which I'm all about. My grandfather reads romance all the time. He reads everything, and he's a good man. Next up we have Jackdaws by Ken Follett. I grabbed this mostly because I loved Pillars of the Earth when I read it many, many years ago, and I have some of his other books on my shelf, but this was like a normal sized book, which I was intrigued by, to read one of his not epic books, and it is a suspense novel set in World War II, so like historical suspense, so I'm intrigued. Alright, so we're getting into some books now that I did not pick out myself. These I definitely know I got in book boxes. We have Present Danger by Elizabeth Goddard. I think this is book 1 in the Rocky Mountain Courage series. This is Christian romantic suspense. You know my thoughts on Christian fiction. I'm not usually a huge fan, so we'll see how this goes. I do like suspense and romantic suspense, so that's a plus. I have All That We Carried by Erin Bartels. This is a Christian fiction with, like, from what I looked up, like adventure themes. I think they go hiking and different things like that. The cover is beautiful and the book itself is quite lovely. But it may be a bit more profound than is my usual reading, so we'll see. How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams is a contemporary romance, I believe, yes, and this seems right up my alley, so looking forward to this. So Afraid of the Light by Cynthia Rushti? Not entirely sure how to pronounce the name, sorry. This is a Christian fiction with definitely Christian fiction because I'm seeing God and all of that on the back, and does have mental health themes in it. So I'm I got this in a book box. I'm really, this is not my jam at all, but I have it. You never know when you need something like that, but that's really not for me. I have Love It First by Kate Clayborn, which is a contemporary romance, I believe. I have A Captain for Carolyn Gray by Julie Wright. This is a proper romance, which means it doesn't have any of the naughty parts in it, but it is not Christian, which I'm good with. I just don't tend to like the Christian themes when they start preaching at you, which isn't for me at all. But I am very cool with a proper romance. Along the same lines, I think, is A Dance in Donegal by Jennifer Dybel. This is also a historical romance. Whether or not this is actually Christian or not is debatable, but it's definitely proper if it's not Christian. And then I have Georgiana's Secret by Arlam Hawkes, and this one is proper. So this is a historical romance, and it's a proper romance. No juicy bits, but also no preaching, which is good. Next up from a book box, I got The Essence of Nathan Biddle by J. William Lewis. I'm not really sure what this is, like genre-wise. It does mention that it's a coming of age. So I would just categorize it as a fiction novel. I mean, it's got a very pretty cover. Of course, this is an ARC, but I assume the real cover is going to look similar. We'll see how that goes. And I have From the Moon I Watched Her by Emily English Medley. It's a beautiful cover. I'm calling this a historical fiction because it is set in 1977, and there are definite themes in this. All right, and the last one I got in a book box, so we'll be getting into books that I actually picked out for myself again soon. But this one is a book box one. It is Phantom Money by S. Alexander O'Keefe. And this is a mystery, possibly some suspense, thriller-y kind of elements in it. All right, and back to the ones that I wanted. So Susan Elizabeth Phillips, I grabbed Dance Away With Me. Hers tend to be along the lines of women's fiction, I believe, but it is a romance. Possibly contemporary romance. We'll see. I grabbed a Sandra Brown, Thick as Thieves. She writes romantic suspense. Now, she used to write just straight up romance. I used to love her books when I was a teenager. I grabbed the last one in this series, A Sky Beyond the Storm by Saba Tahir. I'm going to have to reread this series because I've read the first book, but I read it when it came out ages ago. And this is a young adult fantasy. I grabbed the next one in Sarah J. Maas's series, A Court of Silver Flames. I'm not going to get into how they changed the cover format and how it irritates the ever-loving crap out of me, but I won't talk about that. I lied, this is a book box book. Sorry. The Wicked Hour by Alice Blanchard, and this is a mystery. And last but not least, they just happen to be the biggest book, and therefore at the bottom of the pile, are the Book of the Month picks that I've picked for these past months. So I have The People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is a contemporary romance. I think a lot of people seem to be reading it right now, according to my Goodreads, so I probably should get on it. I have The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai, also contemporary romance. I have The Guest List by Lucy Foley. You'd kill to be on it. Suspense, mystery suspense. And The Heiress Gets a Duke by Harper St. George. This is The Gilded Age Heiresses. This is historical romance. An honorable mention at the end of this, I grabbed 2 manga. I miss dancing. I haven't been ballroom dancing in so long, so I grabbed Let's Dance a Waltz. I haven't read them yet, but because I don't normally read manga, but I was like, oh, I was buying my daughter manga and said, from mama. Well, thank you everyone for being here. I know that was like quick and dirty. Dog, sorry. So hopefully I will be back with some reading, and I have some plans. So I'll be back with definitely some plans. And so I will talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.